visit other cities, Dave. It's you're a cocktail affair.
Okay.
It's not really a beer affair.
Really?
That's just for State College. That's just for the home games. Unlike most Heart of the Rivalry episodes, this one is going to focus a lot off the field. We're going to talk a lot about the Big Ten equity. Are we calling that a fiasco?
Sure.
Are we calling it a disaster? Are we calling it an agreement?
You can call it anything.
Are we calling it, what do you want to call it?
What's your opinion on it?
Well, let's get into that part of the show later.
Yeah.
And then
private capital. They're saying it's not private equity, even though.
Are we going to split hairs on what those definitions are?
I guess, I don't know.
Okay. So we'll get into the weeds of that. Ohio State cruises. BG scores a little bit. Toledo is Miami Maction.
Yeah.
On
and then
Wednesday.
A bunch of crap after that.
And then they play a bunch of crap, which they can win.
Yeah.
So we're looking at another 8-4 dream season.
It'll be 7-5.
Okay.
No, they'll lose. They play at Central Michigan and at Miami. Central's solid. Miami's pretty good.
And then
they'll lose one of those two.
Do we want to revisit also your prediction of Northwestern defeating Michigan, which would be happening this coming weekend?
Yeah, sure.
So
And then who is Ohio State playing? Oh, at UCLA or home against UCLA.
Home against UCLA. But you took me away. I wanted to.
Primetime.
It was. Former Northwestern quarterback has taken over for Brian Daboll.
Oh, okay.
With
the Giants.
He had a stat line from a 2010 bowl game where he was like 45 of 70.
I can see
they
that.
lost to Auburn 38-35, but he threw for like 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 picks. It's just the most insane stat line ever. So, maybe that's in the air for Northwestern. Okay, so off the field rumbling, a rumble. And then some on the field, more quiet on the field than off. But we'll get to that later, right?
I'm going to the Game Day Game of the Week, sponsored by Game Day.
Which has nothing to do with either of our 4 teams.
No.
Except it has to do a lot with Toledo, right?
It does.
What is the kid's name?
Mason Heinschel.
And he's the starting quarterback for a feisty Pittsburgh
Panthers 6-2. I have them ranked. I think they're ranked. Are they ranked in the latest AP poll?
Did you see that Penn State is still ranked?
They're not.
Oh, I must have been AI.
Okay.
I'm getting.
They've lost 6 games in a row.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, well, they're not.
Okay. You never know. No one knows.
Rehire James Franklin if they're still ranked.
Do you think he's available? Okay. Okay.
How about LSU trying to get out of the buyout for Brian Kelly? But neither here nor there. Let's go.
Speaking of great jobs, if you can get them, he's Toledo Blade columnist Dave Briggs. I'm photographer, co-host, and gabber Phil Kaplan, and this is the Heart of the Rivalry, the Blades college football show that covers the exquisite programs of Ohio State, Michigan, Toledo, and Bowling Green, but we also cover college football at large. We read the sport through our 4 programs, but nothing can happen in the world of college football that would miss your gazing eye. But this is a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
The Big Ten is looking to enter essentially a private capital deal to get more money, even though essentially the media rights, from what I read today, each school's already getting $75 million a year.
A lot.
Right now, to run their program from Rutgers to the Buckeyes. You get $75 million media deal. So please take us inside baseball. The big players are Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti, right? And then the 2 schools that have pushed back are Michigan and USC. Is that right?
Yep. So
before you go, though, Dave's opinions are sponsored, as is the Heart of the Rivalry. I know people don't want to hear me keep talking, so tell me which of these is your 2 favorites?
Which of the reads?
Yeah.
I love them both equally. They're kind of like your kids.
What a company, man. I love it. Okay. The Heart of the Rivalry is brought to you by Renewal by Anderson and Dale's Bar and Grill. Renewal by Anderson, the window replacement experts backed by over 120 years of quality and craftsmanship. From consultation to installation, Renewal by Anderson makes upgrading your home easy, beautiful, and worry-free. And, of course, Dale's in Maumee. Whether you're looking for a table for the whole family or just a bar stool for yourself to catch the game, Dale's has you covered with a full menu of sandwiches, wraps, and salads. Combine that with 21 beers on tap, and there is something everyone can enjoy. What can everyone enjoy about a money grab?
Phil, there's really nothing in college sports that'll surprise you anymore. Big Ten is is closing in reportedly on a $2.4 billion private capital deal. The money would come from a California state pension fund and the good thing is, when you get private capital, they're not really going to ask for anything in return other than, just preserving the integrity and the time-honored values of college football. They're not going to really want blind maximization of profit. So they're going to have everybody's best interest at heart. That's the good news. But no, it's crazy. And the reason you need it is because the team's college sports just has a monster spending problem, and you're adding more and more costs each year. Now you have the $20 million a year in revenue sharing. That's a new line item. Coaching salaries are getting crazy. Every school probably has a $40 million buyout that they want to spend on their football coach. You have debt services, everything. And there's no get rich quick scheme or short-term fix or Band-Aid that schools won't accept. So now we're kind of getting crazy and getting private capital. And yes, of course, the schools will get a huge 9-figure check, $150 million up front, and easy to see why the schools would want that. But in exchange, obviously comes at a major cost. The schools would have to assign their grant of rights for another 10 years, which means basically signing yourself to the league, shackling yourself to the league through at least 2046. And you would give up a 10% stake effectively in the league. The Big Ten starting a new enterprise called Big Ten Enterprises, and it's just going to kind of house the league-wide media rights and sponsorship contracts, which is by far the biggest asset these schools and leagues have. So that's why I say they're effectively selling a stake in the league, even though they don't want to call it private equity. So you're giving up a lot, and I see why most of the schools in the league would want it. First of all, a 9-figure check. Again, you can buy out your football coach. You can afford all these bells and whistles. You can afford everything. Everybody needs it. Even for Ohio State, enough is not enough. I mean, they made $255 million last year in revenue, I think led the nation, and still they came out in the red, which is crazy. It's almost impossible, but no school can help themselves. I think I wrote in my column, they're spending so recklessly that even drunken sailors are handing them financial literacy pamphlets.
Oh, when you've lost the drunken sailor crowd.
But cue the laugh track. So I understand the temptation, and more than that, for most of the schools, it's the security blanket of locking in those grant of rights. So if Purdue. The concern of the Purdues and Minnesotas and Rutgers of the world is that Ohio State, Michigan, USC, the biggest brands of the Big Ten, will join forces with the biggest brands of the SEC and kind of go off in a super league, and they'll leave pretty much everyone else behind. It'll be the top 25, 30 schools in college football, and Minnesota and Rutgers and Purdue will basically be on the same level as Toledo. There will be a super league and then everyone else. So basically, they want to handcuff the Purdue and Rutgers of the world. They want to handcuff themselves to Michigan and Ohio State.
The traditional 16-team Big Ten that we've all grown up with.
The 18-team Big Ten now. So for those schools, the most important part about this isn't the money. It's it's the extension of the grant of rights, which would lock the league, stabilize the league through 2046. So this is about survival for them. I get it. I don't get why Ohio State would be interested in this. Reportedly, they're one of the 16 teams that's on board. If they join forces with Michigan, they could blow this up in a second.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Like USC is not having a run like they used to, and
but
Michigan,
it's still one of the top 4 brands in the league.
Absolutely, yeah. and then Michigan and USC are the ones that have stepped up and said we don't like this.
Right.
And like if Ohio State just did that a little bit, that would be the
they
kibosh.
would shut it down. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So what do Ohio State's president Ted Carter and AD Ross Bjorn?
They have not talked, and I'm sure this is at the very highest levels. I don't get it. I mean, it's even from a purely bottom line perspective, we don't know what the media landscape is going to look like in 5 years, let alone 20. So what we do know is that Ohio State and Michigan arguably the two most coveted brands in college sports, along with, maybe Texas, Notre Dame, Alabama, certainly two of the top five brands, and they always will be. They will always have the leverage. We don't know what the landscape will look like. We know Ohio State and Michigan will always have all the cards. So to lock themselves and to tether themselves to a bunch of desperate schools that actually need this bailout to survive and kind of close off all your options for the next 20 years, that is very bizarre to me. I know Ohio State and Michigan have their rivalry on the field, but it's usually these two institutions have usually been in lockstep in kind of the bigger picture issues here. So it's an interesting schism, and it's I credit Michigan for standing up to the Big Ten and kind of asking the right questions, and Ohio State, meanwhile, what the hell? I don't get it. What do you think the motivation is, other than just a straight cash grab?
I think that's it. I think one of the most disingenuous arguments that exists in the world of sports is essentially keep the world out of my sports.
Yeah.
I just want my sports to be my sports. But the reality is that people get upset when you say, "Oh, no, keep politics out of it." Okay, but what has happened is that everything political is actually everything financial. And when people are talking about serious money that affects wide swaths of people, that is now where politics gets involved. Identity politics, I feel, is like what distracts people away from the real plate tectonics of the world on which we stand, which is money. And short-term money, private equity is dominating our capitalism landscape right now. And it's a different beast than has really ever been seen. And it's taking over a lot of stuff, from sports to housing. Most of what happens is the rewards from this, from the power of a communal bank, right?
Yeah.
From, say, hey, we're going to get a group together, we're going to have group buying power. That often takes from public structures, right, in order to create the thing, and the money continues to be privatized. So what I worry about most is not if this deal goes through the first 2 years, the first 5 years, right? It's like 2032, they want to add 2 games, right? And we're on the hook for the pensions of people in California. That's what it starts to get so bizarre. And then
they do say the private capital will not have a say, but that's what they always say.
Come on, Citizens United, all right? So Supreme Court rulings aside, back into the world of sports, just the duration of the thing is a little scary. And when you start getting into media landscape deals that go out 20 years,
makes no sense.
What did the media landscape look like 20 years ago? Nothing like it looks like right now. And one of the biggest, I think, scandal is the wrong word, but terrible deals in big sports history, right, was the ACC ESPN TV deal. Because they signed... Had it just been a bad deal for 5 years, that would be fine. But they signed it for so long, and then you're stuck into it. So I would be concerned first and foremost, not about people grabbing money. Partnerships of universities, that's what they do in order to secure their future. Okay, fine. The duration.
The problem with all of college sports is just that the leaders running them they're all temporary stewards. No one is judging the president or the athletic director based on their budget. They're judging you based on the wins. So there's no incentive to rein in the spending. You just keep spending and spending and spending and keep on taking out loans, opening new credit cards, racking up the debt, because it's going to be the next guy's problem. You just want to go all in to win, and there's never going to be any restraint. It's just cash now, chaos later.
So you can get yours and go.
Someone else can pay the bill. The people making all these decisions and spending, they know when the bill truly comes due, they'll be gone. So who cares? But at some point, you would hope that somebody will step up for the good of the enterprise. Obviously, that will never happen, but we can dream.
Can I ask a dreaming question?
Yeah.
How far do we get before either somebody from the Federal Reserve becomes a college football coach, or somebody from the college football world gets a seat on the Federal Reserve? Isn't that what we need?
Sure.
Won't that settle? Give us some buoyancy?
And we've joked about it, but I mean, like, why can't the Saudis just like buy Minnesota or Rutgers, and they could just have you could pump $500 million. Say Ohio State spends $250 million a year. The Saudis can just have a little toy, and hey, we're going to buy Rutgers. Be a great entry into the New York market. Have a build
know,
an absolute powerhouse. We're going to give $500 million a year. That would be I mean, nobody cares about live golf, but if the Saudis could build a college football powerhouse, we're kind of joking, but we're not. I mean, why don't you think there would be an athletic department so just craven and soulless that they'd be, what the hell? Let's do it.
Giannis Antetokounmpo was asking about his college eligibility.
Yeah.
I think this fits right in with
That's
that,
perfect.
right? Okay, he could be. Now I know he's in Wisconsin, all right, but he could jump
Pay him
over there.
$60 million
Golden
a year.
Gopher starting center.
Yeah.
I like it.
LeBron comes back to Ohio State.
This is the kind of outside the lines thinking that I think the
Or
Saudi
even this,
earned you such high favor in the Saudi royal
Right,
family.
absolutely.
Right?
How about the
Is
Saudis
that why who's
buy,
flying you out to
How about the
beautiful
Saudis buy
Pixway?
Toledo Athletics or Toledo Athletics Incorporated or BG Athletics Incorporated? Or how about buy them both and have just the Battle of I-75 be the greatest rivalry in the country?
The Saudis will build a temporary stadium on I-75.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love it. All right, we're doing it.
All right.
I'm gonna talk to my guy.
So have we come all the way back around? Not only now are we for the private capital infusion,
Yeah.
we're looking for more.
I think
we're going to get the United
that's a good
Arab
point.
Emirates. Oh,
Yeah.
we're
The
going
only
to get
thing
anywhere you can bring it.
The only thing
Give me the
it should
gauge.
I wish it was kind of like Shark Tank. The California pension fund investors are like, I will give you 10. I'm willing to $2.4 billion for 12%.
Didn't the city of Chicago sell the Skyway Bridge to Hong Kong? If I remember,
I don't know.
there's some weird like they and then they sold the rights to their parking meters to a private corporation.
Okay.
Like this feels like
Yeah,
that.
no,
This
for sure.
feels like that. What can we sell the rights to the high level bridge?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
The 280, the Glass City Skyway, one of them can go to BG, one of them go to Toledo, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's only one thing that's taken, and that's the heart of the rivalry. We already have our beloved sponsors. We are filled up for now. We have other
There's no room
marketing.
for us.
We have other marketing opportunities, but for the
Do you
Reeds,
see these hands, Dave? They're clean of filthy cash grabbing. All right? King Kowalczyk.
Did you see they had Toddfather shirts last week?
Toddfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that just
Yeah.
ever so briefly.
The Toddfather.
Okay, so we're going to go back on the field where the heart of the rivalry is strongest. Okay, that's where we're a blue chip recruit.
Yep.
Back in between the lines. And the heart of the rivalry is, of course, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Ready to transform your home with Renewal by Anderson? Buy one window or door and get another 40% off, but only through the end of the year. Schedule your free consultation today at renewalbyanderson.com. Today's episode, what do you think today's episode is going to be titled, Dave? The Game of Risk.
I was going to say something about the Sheik.
I think there's something funny in the name Tony Petitti. All respect to the Petitti family.
Oh, yeah.
But, and his position. But
I've never seen someone who he comes from pro sports background.
Harvard.
I don't think he clearly did not grow up a college sports fan. Like no
MLB
one,
exec. He's a pro sport. He's a Capital fan.
No one has ever had less appreciation for kind of, and I know this sounds idealistic and naive in this current landscape, but even so, there is still something special about college sports, and no one has ever had less appreciation for. I mean, just look at his 28-team playoff plan. He wants everything to be like the professional sports on steroids, and it's just it's unfortunate. Everybody's driven by money, but not only are all his ideas driven by money, they're all terrible ideas.
Well, that was a great take, but that was also a terrible ad read. Yeah. We're still in the middle of the ad read here.
I'm sorry.
So today, and that's also a long title for the show.
Yeah.
So today's episode also brought to you by Dale's Bar and Grill in historic Uptown Maumee. Catch all the college football action as well as NFL and MLB playoffs at Dale's, one of the premier Buckeye bars in Northwest Ohio.
Our favorite.
Wolverines, Falcons, and Rockets, of course, welcome.
Toledo at Miami on Wednesday night. Must-win game for Toledo, and they're playing old friend DeQuan Finn. DQ. This is kind of, what the hell? The players are all getting paid now, so we can kind of talk about it in these terms. It's kind of a referendum on if Toledo made the right choice at quarterback. I mean, DeQuan Finn, from his comments to the Blade earlier this year, he kind of made it seem like he would have been willing to come back to Toledo. Toledo reading between the lines here, but Toledo basically said, we have our quarterback in Tucker Gleason. And DeQuan Finn went to Miami instead. Of course, he was the MAC Player of the Year in 2023, the year Toledo went 11-1 in the regular season, was in the national polls. He transfers to Baylor, injured a lot last year, a lot. And didn't have a great year, but he's been pretty solid for Miami this year. They're in first place in the MAC,
and you're saying this is a revenge game. You're calling it a revenge
No,
game.
It's not a revenge game. It could be a revenge game for Toledo too. I mean, he left them for Baylor, but I think it's interesting. Tucker Gleason's had a very solid year, but whoever has the better game, whoever wins, is basically going to kind of have the rights to say either you made the right choice or the wrong choice, or vice versa. And it's so that's another interesting subplot. But yeah, big game, should be fun.
Big game. Nico Amalivia left Tennessee and went to UCLA, and they come into Columbus.
That's right.
What are you thinking from there?
I think it should be a good another good tune-up for the Buckeyes before the game.
The last time he was in Ohio Stadium, I was privy enough to witness him with my own two eyes.
Oh, that's right.
And
Are you going on Saturday night?
I am not going. But he was the only thing they had going. He was it.
Yeah, he had a slow start. They fire their coach. Just Rick Neuheisel's son, Jerry, is kind of that floppy, mop-haired offensive coordinator.
Looks just like it.
Who's kind of become the star of the show there. I think most college football fans can tell you who UCLA's offensive coordinator is. I don't think anyone can tell you who the actual head coach is, who replaced Deshaun Foster. It's Tim Skipper, but other than me and you, nobody knows. So that's they've been pretty good. I mean, what are they, 3-6? They started 0-4. So
they've been competitive.
They're not going to give. I can't imagine they're going to give Ohio State a game. But
but Ohio State's fallen apart. They gave up this touchdown late in the game to Purdue. I mean, the wheels are coming off.
Well, I mean, they punt on their opening drive and then fell. The defense was struggled early. Oh, absolutely
sad.
No,
sad. In the words of Bill Walton, sad.
Oh, it's embarrassing. They held out Carnell Tate just because they think they could just roll the ball out. I don't like the culture over there. I think Maryland and Northwestern, the two teams Michigan's playing on the road the next 2 weeks, are kind of in the same boat, just solid 500 type teams. And the way Michigan's playing, top running back is out, Justice Haynes. They just are kind of a grinding team. Bryce Underwood hasn't taken the next steps. The defense is good, but not great. I just think they're ripe for a road loss here.
A Northwesterning?
I don't know if... I think Northwestern and Maryland are just kind of the same team. I think they'll lose one of the next two games. I can't really predict which one. I don't have my 8 ball here, but what do you think? Do you think they're going to win both these?
If they're going to go down to one, they're going to go down to Northwestern.
Yeah.
They're not going to lose to Maryland, but Northwestern will take an 18. They'll take an 18-17 loss to you.
How many times has Maryland almost beat Michigan or Ohio State though the week before the game?
Oh, they've given Ohio State
twice in the last 8 years, and then almost
games.
Beat Michigan. I mean, when the heck was that? A couple of years ago. So I think that was in 2023.
They had the other. They had the other Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So
Tua Tagovailoa, not Tua. I can't remember his first name.
Do you think it takes pressure off Ohio State if they know they can lose to Michigan and still make it to the Big Ten title game?
No.
Or do you think it just...
No. I actually think it's worse than last year. I think they... Now, the team, I think, is better than last year, and God help me, I think they're going to learn from last year, but I think it's more important this year than even last year.
Yeah.
Okay, now...
I think the crazy thing is Ohio State has been so dominant this year, and they're so locked in at that number 1 spot. I almost wonder if they could lose a tight game at Michigan and miss the Big Ten title game, but still get a bye. And it's one of the top 4
and still
seeds.
Win the championship and go back to back for the first time since Alabama did it. Is that right?
Yeah. I was going to say a Big Ten team has not done it since the 40s.
And lose to Michigan and win national championships 2 years
again. Like we said last week, it is the most. A game Ohio State doesn't need at all, and a game they need worse than ever.
I need it. Dave.
Yeah.
I need.
Yeah.
Is
Is it a want or a need, Phil?
Indistinguishable to the addict. Now, I want to go to the biggest on-field scandal that exists in college football year over year that people don't talk about.
Yeah.
And that takes us to Bowling Green, who visited Eastern Michigan. That is the most hideous turf.
Gray field.
I cannot stand it. It looks it violates my eyes.
Have you been there
to
in
even
person?
watch the highlights? I have not.
Okay, it's not as bad when you're actually there, but on TV, it just nothing shows worse. I mean, it's as bleak as the program itself.
Okay, but they played an entertaining game against Bowling Green with their fourth string quarterback.
Yeah.
But at least BG got some points on the board.
Yeah, they made the change at offensive coordinator, gave him a little spark, at least showed some signs of life, but this clinches it. They will not be going bowling this year other than back to Bowling Green. And they play host Akron next week and finish at UMass. So they'll definitely beat UMass. I would think UMass is just by far and away the worst team in the country. I think they're the only winless team, and they just get the doors blown off each week. Akron's a 50-50 game. But like we've said, no matter what happens, now that you're down to the fourth string quarterback, all the circumstances around Eddie George that we've laid out, hard to can't call this season a great success, but it's certainly nothing you can judge in a
You can't call it a failure.
No,
it's good.
So,
I would call it a B+.
It's a marketing success because of all the sellouts and the win over Toledo.
Yeah, and the horizon looks bright.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. That's been a good show, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's by far the most times we've mentioned the Federal Reserve.
Nope. Yeah, but and the government shutdown is great. Just in time for
we're a political hot topic show. Do you like it when we go contemporary politics? Do you want me to, or do we have to stick in the past because we're a sports show?
No, I think we should stick to politics and occasionally venture into sports.
I like it. That'll be the formula going forward. Thanks, Dave. We'll see you next week. Bum, bum, bum.
Kyle's doing a story. Speaking of hot topic, for his NIL thing, there's at